The next symbol we're going to talk about here is the arrows. And if you remember in Genesis chapter 49, verse 22, Joseph is a fruitful bough. Well, we described what Joseph's children were. They were the olive branches that were being fed by that well, and we were seeing that their branches were running over the wall. Well, the very next line is concerning these arrows, and it says, "The archers have sorely grieved him, and shot at him, and hated him." Genesis 49, verse 23. Okay, well, it's no accident or coincidence that we see the eagle Ephraim holding the torn olive branch, and in the very next clutch of his talon, we see these arrows. And then, of course, from verse 22 to verse 23, we go from olive branches to arrows that are describing Ephraim and Manasseh, but more importantly, Ephraim, who is told that he was going to become greater than Manasseh. And of course, we're talking about the Great Seal of the United States, which is Ephraim's great work in becoming greater than Manasseh. And then, of course, this Great Seal represents the arrival of the great God of this earth, who has prepared that supper on that great day, which is the sacrifice of which we're all talking here. Now, this thing doesn't stop getting more complex, but in reality, we're really simplifying it. I'm taking these small little videos and really showing you some solid connections that, if you want, you can do the backup research, which is going to show you the greater depth of what I'm sharing with you here. And then pair it up with the information that I've already previously provided in all the other series, and you're really going to have a strong grasp on what's going down. At least what they think is going down, because these are their plans and their proclamations. So once again, we're going to find out that these arrows are connected also in a double meaning. We're going to find out that the arrows have sorely grieved them, but at the same time, they themselves have been shooting many arrows. The number 13 of arrows is going to become the chief root understanding of what all of this is really talking about. And we're going to connect this number 13 to the 13 levels of the other side of this seal, which is the Egyptian pyramid, which is once again connected to the roots of Ephraim and Manasseh from Egypt. And then these 13 levels of these pyramids represent a singular mind world age of 5,125 years. Well, it takes 13 separate Baktuns of 394 years apiece to reach the end of a mind world age. That just so happens to coincide with the Hebrew world age. And the Hebrew world age and the Mayan world age are both chiefly concerned with destruction and then renewal at the end of the age. And we're going to find out that these two ages, or these two philosophies and cultures, are talking about the same age in which we find ourselves today. Some are on the verge of welcoming Jesus Christ, the Lord our Savior, the King of Kings, the Father of all that is. And then the others are seeking to welcome the deceiver, who is trying to be the imposter and representing himself as that in every way, shape, and form, even representing himself throughout these scriptures through his chosen line, which is the torn, unbelieving nations, all ideologically descended from Ephraim and Manasseh. I hope that's beginning to make sense, because this is a singular mind world age. We're at the 13th Baktun now, the last Baktun. Now, this 13th Baktun is going to be how we're going to relate these 13 arrows. So each one of these arrows are going to represent an age and work where they have been grieved, and at the same time they have been grievous. They have been trying to shoot at us and keep us down. So 13 Baktun periods are going to relate back to these same 13 stripes. Well, these aren't just really stripes, my friends. We're going to find out that these are bands, and they represent the bands of Orion. It's also going to intrafractal relate to northern Israel, which northern Israel's colors are red and white, and that's what this is representing, this period of time of which northern Israel would be the shepherd over these bands, or the dog days of Orion. All of this I'm going to explain in better detail, and will describe what this seal means here when I return.